another episode with the Samurai Carpenter. Today is the day you are going to learn everything you need to know about Japanese hand saws. Well, you actually will need to know a lot more, but I'm going to teach you everything you know to get started, like how to go and get one, which one to get. But after that, you're on your own. You got to learn how to cut straight because it takes time and practice. Some of you are looking at the Japanese hand saws and you've seen them in stores and you're like, these are kind of neat. I kind of want one. Maybe you've gotten one and you're like, oh, they do cut really nice, but they're still a bit tricky to use. Well, there is a bit of technique to it, but for the most part, these saws just kick butt in everything they do. I'm not going to compare them to North American push saws or hand saws because honestly, I've never used one. I've only ever used Japanese hand saws because I'm just a young buck, and when I came into the trade, these things were the new thing, and this is what I learned on, and this is what I will always use because they are amazing. But there are a lot of different types, so if you're wondering which hand saw should I get, you should get this kind. It's called the Ryoba Nokogiri. Ryoba meaning two sides, Nokogiri meaning Japanese for hand saw. So you basically get the best of both worlds in one saw with this saw. You get cross-cutting teeth on one edge, and you get rip-cutting teeth on the other edge. So you can do both in one. 2 in 1. 2 for 1. 2 for 1 pizza, 2 for 1 saw. No-brainer. Don't be fooled, though, by the crappy ones that you're going to find at your local hardware store or Home Depot. Those are not good quality saws. Those are Scheiße! You want to get what is called the Gucho hand saw. Am I a rep for Gucho? No, I'm not. Am I getting paid by them to promote their product? No, I'm not. I'm promoting their product because it's flippin' awesome. And these saws are stainless, so they don't rust. They are crazy sharp, and they hold a good edge for a long time. When I first got into Japanese hand saws, I was like, I want to be the coolest, and I want to have the best saws, and so I got on eBay, and I bought these like handmade Japanese hand saws. Here's one right here. Beautiful hand saw. Cuts like a dream. But eventually, like any saw, it gets dull. What do you do with it when it's dull? Well, you could send it by mail back to Japan to a master saw sharpener, and they can resharpen it to perfection for you, but that would cost more than the saw costs. So, and me, being the confident, arrogant guy that I am, I thought I could hand sharpen this thing with a file. And let me tell you, you will learn within a few seconds that that is impossible without years and years of training and practice. So, I ain't got years and years of training and practice to learn how to sharpen these things by hand. So the best thing to do is just not to buy handmade Japanese saws unless you live in Japan and you can affordably get them resharpened. So, that being said, you are going to buy a replaceable blade saw. The blades cost about, depending where you get them, anywhere from like 18 to 30 bucks. 25 bucks, I don't know. Somewhere in there. Gucho saws are the best, in my opinion. And I'm subscribed to some, like, I'm talking legit master carpenter Japanese YouTube channels where these guys build, like, temples and shrines and, like, the most amazing things you've ever seen made out of wood. And in their videos, I've seen them using Gucho saws. Okay, so if the legendary masters, and I'm talking like 10 times more legendary than me, are using these saws, well, then they're good enough for you, okay? So don't be a tool-tard and get all like, that saw's not that great, this saw's the best. This saw is awesome, and this is what you want. It's called Gucho. How do you spell that? Gyoukucho. Okay, write it down, do a Google search. You can find them at Woodcraft Supply if you're in the States. Unfortunately, Lee Valley in Canada does not carry these. Hopefully they will soon. But you can get them on eBay, or you can order them from Woodcraft or whatever. Just get your hands on a Gucho saw. Okay, Apart from that, there are other Japanese handsaws that are very useful to have. So once you have one of these, a Ryoba saw, you want to get one of these, which is called a Dozuki Saw. Dozuki meaning it has a spine on the back, which keeps the blade from bending. Keeps the blade nice and straight, and this is for cutting like small shoulder cuts, dovetails, that sort of thing. The blade, if my lens on that camera could capture the thinness of that blade, I'll try and show you a cut. It's literally like a piece of paper thin. It gives you the warm fuzzies down there, you know what I'm saying? It awakens your manhood. So, you want to get one of these. They're also a replaceable blade. You just unscrew this little knobby thing here, pull the blade out, bing, get yourself a new one. You can get these in a variety of teeth patterns. I prefer a nice fine tooth because you're only going to use this saw for really fine work, and I don't think they make them in like a really coarse, aggressive tooth. The Ryoba saw, on the other hand, they do make these in all sorts of different sizes. I've got a whole bunch of them here. See? Alright, so the smaller the saw, the more teeth you get per inch. TPI, it'll say on the ad. That means tooth per inch. And so you want one with nice fine teeth for doing the smaller, finer, intricate work. And then you want one with more aggressive teeth for doing bigger cuts on timbers and stuff like that. And then you can get, this is their biggest one right here, so I think they make them even smaller than this, but having one of each of these will basically cover the gamut of whatever you're going to be cutting. Another great saw to have is this little gem. It's not made by Gucho, it's made by some company I can't read because I don't read kanji. But it's another stainless steel blade saw. It's not quite the same quality as Gucho is. But this shape, this thin little blade, gets into so many tight spots, and it cuts really well. They're pretty cheap. They're about 24 bucks maybe. If you get them online, you can get them a bit cheaper, but they end up being about 24 bucks with shipping. Or if you get them in a hardware store here, they're about just 24 bucks. So 24 bucks, you know. Worth it to have a saw like this that can get into really tight spots. Very handy to have. Another saw that you're going to want to have is this. Wait, didn't you already show me this saw? No, this is another Dozuki saw, but this saw has rip cutting teeth. So if you're going to be hand cutting any dovetails, you probably want to get one of these Dozuki saws with rip cutting teeth, because that's cutting with the grain, obviously. So, let's go over it. There's the Ryoba saw. There's the rip cutting Dozuki saw. There's the cross cutting Dozuki saw. And then there's this little get into tight spots and handy to have saw. These are the 4 saws that I recommend you get into your quiver. Start with these and then move out from there. Okay. Boom. There you have it. Japanese hand saws. They're awesome. If you don't have one, go get one. If you like this video, hit the like button. It really helps me out. I would appreciate that. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so that we'll see you next week. Samurai out.